Well, Queensland's Premier David Crisafulli is vowing he's delivered on every single promise as he marks 100 days in power. Among the 43 commitments was the publishing of real-time hospital data and legislating adult crime, adult time laws. But despite the steady agenda, Crisafulli still faces a huge task to help the state north recover from devastating floods, as well as mounting pressure to crack down on youth crime. Premier David Crisafulli joins us live in Brisbane. Good morning to you. Let's start with those terrible floods that the state has been experiencing. Some communities still cut off, aren't they? Others counting the cost of yet another natural disaster. You're vowing to build back better. Exactly what does that look like?
It means not replacing things to the same standard in the same location and expecting a different result in that. That's what that looks like. And people would have seen that image of what's called Olera Creek, the bridge there, where it was dangling by a thread. Now, why would you replace a bridge to that standard and expect a different result? So we've done a couple of things. The first is we moved the Army in there, and the partnership there was quite frankly incredible, and that allowed some of those emergency services vehicles to get through. Overnight, a temporary solution was put in place. They worked around the clock, some of our state transport workers. They worked around the clock, and as a result, we had 169 trucks go north and 115 go south. That's the difference between communities like Cairns having fresh fruit and vegetables and meat today. And look, that was a huge logistical effort. But what I'm talking about is when we go to replace it long term, let's do it better. Let's make it higher and longer and stronger and build some resilience. And we need to look at all the way across the Bruce Highway and find those pinch points. And you're never going to flood-proof it. You're never going to make it completely bulletproof. But we can do a whole lot better than what we have for many, many years. And I look at that Olera Creek Bridge as a classic example of great community spirit rallying for the short term. Now let's build that long-term solution.
Yeah, so the big questions you ask when you renovate are how long and how much? They're the questions.
Of course, and this isn't going to happen without a partnership from Canberra. And one of the first things we did do in our 100 days is secure a commitment from both sides of Canberra to resume 80-20 funding for the Bruce Highway. Now, that's a game changer for us, and so it should be. It's a national road and it's always been 80-20. There were more than 40 Queenslanders lost their life on that stretch of road last year. It's a goat track, and we wouldn't accept it anywhere else in the country, and somehow Queenslanders have had to put up with it for too long. So we've put in place a group to drive that agenda, take away the politics from it, and we're going to have a proper generational plan. And if we do work together, we can build some resilience into that road while we fix those pinch points over a long period of time.
OK, big job ahead there. Moving on now, many questioned your word after your adult crime, adult time laws failed to capture one of your state's most significant youth crime cases last month, where a 13-year-old boy allegedly stabbed a Coles worker. Why isn't attempted murder in your new laws?
It will be, Nat, and the changes we made that we said we'd make before Christmas were the ones that we campaigned on, and that involves setting a minimum mandatory for murder. It involves things like unlawful wounding, theft of a motor vehicle with those aggravated circumstances. So they were the things that we took to the people of Queensland. But I also said we'd have an expert panel in place in the first quarter of this year. That'll be the case. And I also said it would be the first of many different waves and tranches of those Making Queensland Safer laws. And I'm sorry, but I'm not going to stop until the job is done of creating a Youth Justice Act that tips the balance of favour back in favour of the victim over the offender. Now, it's been 10 years since that act was weakened, and on the back of it, you've got a generation of hardcore repeat untouchables, and it's not going to happen overnight, but I'm determined to drive generational change. Now, that's the legislative part of it, but we've also got to change the way that we do early intervention, rehabilitation. We've got to fix some of those broken arms of that state system that isn't giving kids the support to turn their life around. It'll take time, but so far we've made good progress, and we've done everything that we said we'd do in the first 100 days.
OK, so just clarifying, attempted murder will be included in those new laws?
You bet it will, and there'll be many other changes too. I've spoken to the Morecambs, and part of it will involve the child sex offender register. We've spoken to the Beasleys. Part of it will involve making permanent knife laws in this state. There will be more changes, and I'm following the blueprint that we promised Queenslanders.
Okay, Premier, we thank you for your time.